All right, we are back. I am here with Juan from Auribus Acoustics. Thank you so much for joining us, Juan. It's a pleasure. And if you follow our YouTube channel, I actually did a review of a pre-production model of these fantastic headphones, the Sierras.
That's right.
Open back headphones. And now they're even more refined than the pre-production model that I was able to review. Some things I noticed last night that I really dug was the mechanism here. Smoothed out, it feels better, turns easier, and then you were saying you got the all aluminum headband now. They're still just as comfortable as they were before, which is fantastic. And from a sound perspective, it sounds like the treble was just slightly more refined than the open back, which also I appreciated. So for me, these are the kind of sound signature that I personally love. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about your journey from where it started as kind of a DIY project to becoming now a legitimate, let me show this box, even look at the packaging, a legitimate headphone offering that I think a lot of people are going to be really stoked on. So,
all right, well, where do I begin? This started off life as an attempt at a university project. This whole headband design was part of an industrial design project to try and make an ergonomic and lightweight headphone. The headphone that it was attached to at the time was a closed-back experiment that I was working on, and people liked it, but I wanted to bring more out of it. I kept kind of going back to the drawing board with this cup design, trying to figure out, what is an acoustic solution that sounds great, is manufacturable, and takes advantage of the technologies that we developed previously for the Everest headphone, which, again, I also built while I was at university. But now I'm graduated, now it's off to the races, and now I need something that people want to hold, people want to buy, and doesn't look like a science experiment, right?
Sure.
So, what was the journey? We started this off debuting in New York. That was a prototype. It was based on some older components that I had lying around, but it was an all-new design. And over time, I always look for feedback. I always look for feedback at CanJams. And like you said, the mechanism needed to be improved. Certain facets of the design, certain little things on the sound reproduction side as well. And we took that, we ran with it. I went, okay, well, what can we do about all these things? I went around to different suppliers, and eventually, after 3 shows later, well, here we are.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I was able to spend some time with them last night in my hotel room off of one of my favorite setups, I guess, which is the Ferrum Audio stack with the Vondola, the Ore, and the Hypsos version 2 power supply. And that's exactly what I actually listened to them a lot with a pre-production, and I was able to hear that refinement in the treble, but I still have that awesome impactful bass and that just enveloping sound that's very emotional. So very impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you.
How has the response been so far?
So far, it's been great. Even the people who say they don't like it, they go, you know what, I know exactly what you're going for here, and I know who would like it.
Totally. So, which is people like me.
Exactly.
So,
So I've been really happy,
Yeah, and you have different, in this hobby or this business, I guess, if you will, from a manufacturer standpoint, which is what you are now, is you're going to have different headphones for different people that like different types of sound. But and I feel like the audiophiles of this community want a very neutral, more treble, but then you're going to have maybe people that are just really passionate music lovers like myself that, I don't mind that treble, but I don't want it to go too far because I want to emotionally be drawn into the music without maybe being distracted by too many spikes in the upper frequencies.
Exactly.
So I think you've achieved that beautifully with these headphones, and I can get lost listening to them for hours. So exceptional job.
Well, thank you. Much appreciated. And, there was a lot of attention put into just the goal coming into this wasn't to make the smoothest headphone in the world, but it was to kind of bring up a little bit more energy into this, Again, not going overboard, I really tried to kind of balance these things out, but trying to make something fun, a little more energetic than the usual audiophile neutral sound.
Right.
Because that's where we started with our original Everest headphone. That was the classic warm audiophile neutral, and I much enjoy that sound myself.
Sure.
But I wanted something that, well, no one else has, right? And this is what we have.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So talk to us about how much this is going to retail for. One other great thing I noticed is the cable, and maybe I can grab it in a second while you're talking about it. I have one in the box over here. Is also greatly improved from the more basic cable that I reviewed the pre-production. It's a very nice braided cable, which we'll show you guys in a sec. But talk to us about the price point. How many units you think you're going to be able to make and manufacture to keep up with demand?
Yes.
And while you're talking about that with them on the camera, I'll grab out the cable.
I will. All right. So basics, price point. These are $899 out the door. We had a pre-production period that was discounted, but now we're set at $899. And remember that these are built right here in California, so, these aren't the cheapest headphones to build. But regarding the build, how many we're building, so this first batch, we just completed it. It's 50 units, so we had our first 50 unit run. We built those over the course of a few weeks. Honestly, our capacity right now, we can probably easily get 100 done a month.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're really moving along here. We have all of our ducks are in a row. We had a couple. Suppliers are a thing to juggle around. You have to kind of get them in line for everything to work out smoothly. But we managed just before CanJam to work out all the kinks, get all of these done, and we have stock. We have headphones in stock. If you buy them here at CanJam, we'll give them to you. You can walk out the door with them.
Very cool. And so this is also a nice touch for the cable. Comes in a little case, and then you can see here, braided, very nice quality. And so you got your 1/4 inch and a 3.5, and then you got a nice little leather. So it's well done, very well done. Yeah,
thank you.
I like it. You also have a clip too.
It comes with a clip.
Cool. Yeah.
It comes with a clip and a little pouch, and just stuff everything in there.
Yeah, that's nice. Yep. I like it. It's nice touches. These kind of things are important. You also get a case too.
That's right. Yeah. So that's the standard carry case. So,
which is nice. You got some protection. You can put it in your backpack.
Yep.
And it'll travel with you.
Yep. Yeah, and it's smaller than our last carry case. It just fits this headphone perfectly. So yeah, it ended up being a really good match.
Cool. So what do you think the future holds? You obviously are very focused on this project right now, launching it. It takes a significant amount of time, money, and energy. But what do you think the future holds for you guys?
So coming into this project, one of the first things that I was thinking about was the future. So this headphone, it really is, it's not just this headphone. This is a platform that we're building up. This is going to be the basis of some other interesting projects down the line. I'm not going to give too many details, but watch us at CES this January. We'll have some funky stuff coming out, and working with other technology partners, seeing what we can bring to this form factor. What we can add to other again partners, sort of products, where we can come in the middle and put things together, and as well on my end specifically, trying to find different form factors, closed backs, larger headphone sizes, things like that, and seeing where the market's going and seeing how we can respond to it with this chassis. So, and this really has, having everything now built in-house really has improved our ability to react to the market and be able to do this kind of thing.
Very cool.
With different types of headphones.
I love it. And then VSG had a question. Said, how's the bass and treble on the Sierra? I'll give you my opinion, and I'll let Juan chime in as well. I think the bass is fantastic. It's actually one of the best parts about the headphones. I wouldn't say they're like bass head headphones, where it's overdone, but it's very impactful. It's very punchy, and there's plenty of bass to enjoy all genres of music. It's definitely not anemic at all, and it's definitely not lacking bass. But it's also, in my opinion, not overly done either, which is great. And the treble, for me, the treble on the pre-production model was pretty darn good, but on the production model, it's just a bit smoother, and it's actually more to my liking. It's right there. So without sounding overly extended, if you like a ton of treble, maybe your original version, the Everest might be, because that might be your more neutral sound, right?
Well, that was a bit of a smoother kind of jazzier sound.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
okay. That
was supposed to be really that laid back audiophile neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the contrast to that.
Got it.
We might explore that sound again in the future, though. Again, this is a platform we want to build off of.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess my point is it's not a bright sounding headphone.
Definitely.
You're not going to be offended by the treble. But if you like bright headphones, that might...
It's not anemic, that's for sure.
No, not at all. It's a very emotional listen, and there's color to it. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then VSG says, all the best with upcoming products. Can't wait to see them. You've got great community support, I mean, I've noticed it on Discord and other places. You have a lot of fans for what you're trying to do. What would you say to, a younger version of yourself that is, like, my gosh, I want to do what Juan's doing? Like, what bits of advice would you maybe give them?
Oh, man. So it's hard to say. Everyone kind of has their own situation. So when I started with this, I've always been really into like the Discord audiophile communities. Ever since like the end of my high school days, around 2019, 2017, and I don't know. I guess just getting into it, just listening to people, just seeing what different people have to say, coming out to these CanJams, and just like, this isn't a regular consumer products market. This isn't a regular consumer electronics market.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people make the mistake of going into this thinking that they can just come up with something flashy and drop in with it and it'll sell a billion units.
Right.
That's just not what this is. It really is a community that you have to get down to, get in the mud with, understand what they like, and figure out what you like. Figure out exactly what you like and where you want to go with your sound. What headphones do you have? What headphones do you want? And then, what headphone do you want to make?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's no like single piece of advice for everyone. Like, I've spoken to a bunch of other DIY guys. All of their journeys are radically different. Right. Their processes for making headphones, what they decide to bring in-house versus outsourcing, things like that. For their situation, it's all different. So, it really is just taking the time to explore what you want, what you need, and where you want to go.
I love it. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about these ported areas on the headphones and the significance.
Well, at this point, might as well pop the thing open.
All right, cool.
Let's get in here.
You get to get a look behind the curtain.
That's right. So those vents are purely functional. I mean, it's a design, it's a design element.
It's beautifully designed too.
Though, yeah. You can see the stainless steel backing in the vents here. But actually, this is our front leakage.
Oh, cool.
So basically, just like every other open back headphone, we have a controlled leakage response here.
Right.
And it's a very, very large cavity with this huge 3D baffle design. So it plays a functional role of directing sound better towards the ear, and as well as having this, because if you notice the pads here, the outsides are completely solid, even if the inside is a little bit vented.
Yep.
So really, most of your leak is coming from here. That's what allows us to have such a consistent sound out of this thing. It doesn't matter whether you have glasses or a hat or whatever, because this is always leaking. And since this is always going to be a much bigger leak than whatever little things you got going on here, you're always going to have this consistent sound that we wanted. And of course, we're able to produce bass with that amount of leak, so you never get any roll off no matter what.
Fantastic bass, yeah, and also the soundstage is impressive as well. Very impressive soundstage.
No, trust me, every trick in the book for this type of thing, we wanted to get done. If you see here, we got a little waveguide going on here, better directing sound towards the pinna. Things like, like I was mentioning here, leakage tolerance, overall positional variance was something that I really wanted to pay attention to. Something, beyond, like, I guess the big philosophy that I have with any product that I put out with is that it has to be a finished product. I want people to just put this on. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about anything catching on your hair. You don't have to worry about the sound changing randomly, depending on where whether you have glasses or whatever.
Or a beard like me.
Or a beard, exactly.
I've had headphones, sometimes you break the seal even with a beard and they lose a dB of bass.
Yeah, exactly. And, like people try to, you can try to compensate with EQ or whatever, but it's not going to be the same as a headphone that is out of the box, set and ready to go. No matter what situation, it's going to work right every time. You don't have to think about it at all, right? And if you want to EQ it, if you want to EQ whatever peak, dip, whatever, these types of things are generally held pretty consistent on this headphone, so it's fairly predictable if you do want to change that sound to your liking.
Very good. And so another thing I would say too is the importance is an amplifier with these headphones. You're going to want a good dedicated headphone amplifier with some decent power. You're not going to want to run these off your I guess you could, but you're not going to get the performance out of them without a headphone amplifier. Like if you're just plugging into your MacBook Pro or something like that, you're going to get much better sound quality with a dedicated amp. the one that I really have been loving the pairing with is the Ferrum Ore. I also listen to them with my Korg Hugo TT2 and Hugo 2, which gives you a little bit more analytical sound. So if you want a little bit more, you can push to that way and kind of synergize your experience that way. But for me, the Ferrum Audio Ore and Vondola, so great with that headphone. Great.
I love the Ferrums, honestly.
Yeah.
Brilliant sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. These things do need some power. It's really current over voltage with these guys.
Current it is, right?
You need that current overhead, like with the dongle or even a MacBook Air output, if you're in a quiet room, you can get some volume out of this. You can get usable sound out of this. It'll sound fine. But like, especially at a trade show environment like this, you need that headroom or else you're going to clip. There's no way around it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind and think about that as you're, if you don't have an amp, that's going to be something you want to think about if you're going to order these. And so right now, you can buy them here at the show, walk out with them today, or they can buy them directly through your website now.
That's right, AuribusAcoustics.com.
AuribusAcoustics.com. So make sure you visit and check it out and keep in tune with what's coming, because it sounds like something is cool coming next year for January CES.
You'll see. CES, we'll try. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for us too. But hey, follow the social media. Follow our website. We'll have some things coming up soon.
And on social media, you want to let them know what your IG handle is?
Yeah, IG handle at Auribus Acoustics and at Juan_Auribus. That's where I post all of the updates and trade show footage and everything you want to know.
Perfect. Awesome. And I don't think we have any other questions. Is there anything else you want to let any of the viewers know?
Yeah, I guess, closing statement, I guess.
Yeah.
This has been a long-time passion project of mine. This is really the first time we have a real proper setup here at CanJam, and there's a lot of milestones that were hit when making this headphone, and I'm glad people enjoy it, and I hope more people come to enjoy it. So just come check us out. Give us a shot.
Congratulations, Juan.
I
think you got a total winner on your hands. I'm a big fan of these headphones. So go check out his website, and if you're here or if you plan on coming today, make sure you stop by his booth. And stay tuned with us. We're going to be live streaming all day today till about 5 p.m. We appreciate everybody that's watching and all your support as viewers, and we will see you on the next stream.
Thanks, Marcello.
Thank you.